to realize and recognize that I'm not telling the story for myself, although I am. I'm telling the story to help other people, which is what I do in my job as a lawyer. I'm helping other people. When I'm helping other people, that helped me understand that I was making the transformation that I needed to make. Every story matters. You can make a decision whether it's a good story or a bad story, a good transformation or a bad transformation. But say your story because it matters.
Hey everybody, welcome to Finding the Upside. I'm your host, Maria de Lorenzis Reyes. Welcome to this special podcast series starting today, Real Women, 7 Minutes of Transformation. These presentations were recorded at the Revive and Thrive Summit that we had last year. Each episode that you're about to hear is a part of a larger collaboration. It's a collective of women who came together not just to share their story, but to create something meaningful together. These conversations are the foundation of an upcoming collaborative book project that we're launching later this year. Every woman featured in this series is a contributing author to that book. These episodes exist to share the moments that change us and to remind you that your story matters more than you think. Let's begin.
Transformation. That's kind of a weird word, right? So I looked it up, and transformation means a dramatic change in appearance or form. So I've been thinking about it. What is transformation really? And when I was asked to write my chapter in this book, I was like, okay, I can go from this to this. I can tell my story. But do I really want to? Do I really want to transform? Do I really want to change? And the answer is, it doesn't really matter because we're all transforming every second, regardless of what we do. We're all getting older, no offense. I understand this. More skincare, more all of the things, right? So we're all transforming constantly. And you get to choose whether it's a good transformation or not such a good transformation. For example, this morning when we were getting glam, we were talking about coffee. Coffee transforms some people every single morning, right? It wakes them up, it makes them brighter, happier, and it starts their day off right. Or you can choose those same people not to have that coffee and drag through your day and not have a great day, right? So the transformation is either good or bad. Back when I was growing up, and when we grow up, we learn our values and our morals from our parents, from our teachers, from our friends in our communities, right? And back when I was growing up, I had pretty much a magical childhood, okay? My parents are amazing. Several of you guys in the audience know my parents, and you know how great they are. They were wonderful people. They loved me. I never wanted for anything. I had everything that I needed. They always made me work for the stuff that I wanted instead of needed. But I had a great childhood, except that it was very serious. Both of my parents are attorneys and also elected judges. And if you have ever had a family member go through an election, it is very difficult and also very serious. My parents were very proud anytime my name was in the newspaper, but you better believe it better be in the newspaper for a good reason and not a bad reason. Just before I was born, my dad actually started law school. He was the vice president of a large company, and he worked during the day, went to law school at night for 4 years, and also had a newborn. And then as soon as he graduated from law school, he was diagnosed with kidney cancer for the first time. He was 34 years old when that happened, and I was 4. And my parents went through that journey, and my mom found a spiritual healer. And my spiritual transformation started when I was 4. I didn't know it at the time. In fact, I didn't know it until I was in my 30s, that's when my spiritual transformation started. I didn't tell anybody about it, but I met this person, and I knew that this person was helping to heal my dad. And it made it okay for the things that I was doing. I didn't know it at the time because my parents were taking me to church, and during the prayers, everyone would pray. They would talk to God. I wasn't talking to God. I was talking to angels because the angels felt more comfortable to me. And so I would talk to the angels. Everybody else would talk to God. I didn't know how I knew the angels. I didn't know how I knew their names. I didn't know if they were archangels, guardian angels, or some other kind of angel, but I talked to all of them. And I did it in my everyday life too, in my head. I didn't tell my friends about it because that would have been kind of weird, right, for a little kid. I didn't tell anybody about it until I got much older. And so my childhood was very magical, but it was also very, very serious because my mom went to law school right after my dad finished his first round of kidney cancer. And so she was working full-time in hospital administration during the day. My dad is working full-time as a lawyer and also thinking about running for judge at this time. And I am in middle school. And my mom graduated from law school when I was 12. And then again, when I was 16, my dad had kidney cancer, not once more, but twice more. And he is now, thankfully, one of the longest survivors in the world of renal cell carcinoma, which I'm very thankful for. Yes, thank you. Shout out to MD Anderson in Houston, Texas. Anyway, so everything was very serious growing up. So I was always looking for the thing that I didn't have in my life. And that was fun. So fast forward, I go to college, I go to law school, I do all the things you're supposed to do. I was a good kid, always have my name in the newspaper for good things, not bad things. And then I get out of law school, I'm running my own law practice, and I still didn't have that much fun. So I met a guy, and guess what he was? He was really fun. He was also really abusive. Extremely, in every way you can imagine. Physically, man, black eyes, broken nose, all the things. Emotionally, cheated constantly, never took anything that I did seriously, and financially. I was doing really well. I met him, and then I wasn't doing so well. Almost went bankrupt because of all the money that I was giving him. But most of the time during that relationship, and it lasted for a really long time, you guys, we were together for a long time. And I was in my 30s, and I'm like, all right, I really want to be a mom. I want to be a mom so badly. I'm going to get married to this guy, and we're going to have kids together. Thankfully, the angels were looking after me, and we did not have children. So after we got married, I asked for a divorce on our honeymoon. And then we stayed together for another year. I got out of that relationship, but I was too embarrassed to tell my story. So fast forward to a few more years, I get invited to go to New Zealand to film a reality television show. And so I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm going to do that. Well, part of the show was doing a TED-like talk. But it was in Auckland, so I can do a TED Talk about my story, right? Nobody's going to see it. Wrong. First of all, the audience was filled with people in New Zealand. Okay, fine, they're in New Zealand. That's fine. Nobody in the U.S. is going to see it. Wrong again, because the reality TV show cameras were there, and they filmed all of this, and then they put it on the internet, and everyone saw it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Then I get asked to do this book chapter, and I'm like, okay. So I write the chapter, and guess what? I was too scared to put my chapter in the book because then people would actually see it. But I started talking, and I started saying my story over and over and over again, and I had so many people come up to me and say, Angela, thank you for telling your story. Thank you for saying those things. I'm in the same situation, and I'm also embarrassed of it. But to know that somebody else has been through this, that's really helpful for me. And when I transformed my thinking, dramatic change in form for me, to realize and recognize that I'm not telling the story for myself, although I am. I'm telling the story to help other people, which is what I do in my job as a lawyer. I'm helping other people. When I'm helping other people, that helped me understand that I was making the transformation that I needed to make. Every story matters. You can make a decision whether it's a good story or a bad story, a good transformation or a bad transformation. But say your story because it matters. It matters to that one person that's going through the same thing and is embarrassed of the same thing. The transformation is in saying it. And that's what everyone needs to do. So make it a good transformation in form or appearance. Drink your coffee and tell your story.
Thank you for spending time with us. Every story you've heard in this series is a part of that larger collaboration, this collective of women who came together to share their real experiences, real growth, and real transformation. Again, these conversations are the foundation of our collaborative book launching later this year. If something in today's episode resonated with you, let that be an invitation to reflect, to get curious, and to consider what part of your own story may be ready to be shared. You'll hear more about the book as we move forward and each episode launches. And you'll hear more about the women behind it as well. Until then, thank you for being a part of this journey and for honoring the power of real stories.